Hello everyone, we're back to part 4. Uh, um, the plan is still the same, more science, so I could actually beat Mongolia to artillery. Wasn't really sure if I was going to do it, because he was leading with techs, still 4 techs in front of me. Of course, those techs were probably, some of them were some small techs, but still I couldn't really know at this stage of the games. Okay, so Marius was wondering how I actually managed from 4th position, 25 turns, to go in 1st position, and I made a joke, of course, which he was probably aware of. So I got my 2nd grade puppet. Was time to enhance my religion. Didn't really check which beliefs were free. So the temp was +2 happiness. That was good, and I wanted to have Defender of the Faith. That's what I actually needed. So he offered a declaration of friendship, which has no real meaning. It's, I mean, you can declare friendship and still attack someone. It won't really do you any good. And among all, I thought that declaration of friendship is actually banned. I mean, it's trading with others is more than just enough, but a declaration of friendship would actually mean that you could go with research agreements, which actually doesn't make any sense, doesn't isn't fair to others. So, but probably they're playing a lot longer on this server, so since he offered me, it's probably allowed. I mean, there shouldn't be, since it's no quitters. It is a bit more serious than public games, but we desynced there, so and right now I actually noticed that policy saving was turned on. I wasn't aware of it, but anyway, that wasn't really a big waste. I mean, it could have mean for rationalism, one more policy in that, more science, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. When I'm actually playing and recording, my computer is a bit slow, and graphic needs time to work on loading back the details. So I needed to research cavalry. I was slowly but surely preparing myself for spamming units. I didn't really get that in a good order, because I was let's say 5 turns, 5 to 7 turns. I miscalculated, but you'll see eventually it still didn't uh, cost me a lot. I was going banking so I could boost up my gold before I start building units, so I could actually upgrade those cannons into artillery. So I knew I needed banking to help me a little bit because my golden age wouldn't really start soon. So I'm first with soldiers. I mean military, not that far above. First, and literacy, I was behind 2 techs now, which was a good sign. I'm just scouting to see which position actually is the best to attack him, which route to take and try. At this point I forgot that I one of my beliefs was temples provide two happiness if you have 5 followers. Um, so I could have went shrines and build up temples because I mean already had more than 5 followers in each city, but I forgot that. It was getting close with the moment when I should start building up units. So and there was a lot of text to research on the way, and I would need to get. So I entered uh, I entered the industrial era as soon as I had fertilizer, and now I'm picking up the small techs. And since I have a lot of luxury resources, my capital was constantly at the will of the king. So now I was only 1 tech behind Mongolia, and was pretty sure I was gonna catch up on him. So at the worst we would have artillery at the same time, which wouldn't really do me that much good. I mean, would screw up my plan of attacking him, but still at least he wouldn't have managed to attack me as well. So it would all turn down to who would have oil. You can see I'm saving up gold, trying to make as much as possible. I'm building the Himjay castle just because I didn't want Mongolia to build it in his capital and provide him with a free castle. So I'm building in my third city to provide me a free castle and protect me from him in case he attacks me. So I didn't go get a bank at that city because it was producing actually 7 gold, which wouldn't really do me any good. Would increase like 2 gold at most. At this point I knew he was gonna offer a declaration of friendship as a counter offer. I made a joke here offering a declaration of friendship with 500 gold in exchange. um, his concern was he was aware that if I was going to attack someone, he was gonna be the first one, especially since we are close to each other, and probably he was aware of his capital position. So he asked for Sparta, which was funny. Um, I mean, he made a joke after me. He's a good player. I played a few times with him, um, but the position of his capital was actually not that great. I mean, for defending. So he was aware probably, and he constantly sees that I'm first with military. That's not like a lot of units at this point. I have like maybe 10 units at most at this point, not even upgraded. But I'm 62k in value. He's probably somewhere in the middle. He has crossbowman upgraded. I'd say like 40k. Though seriously, when you offer a declaration of friendship with someone and embassies, so the only purpose of it is to get research agreements, but as I've said, that really doesn't isn't fair compared to other players. And this was the point where I'm gonna turn everything onto production and start building units. I was a little bit late, should have had a bit more units, and I mean started a bit earlier with the unit production, because I didn't even get Orthodox Oxford University for the free dynamite research, so I didn't. It was a lot of miscalculation. Should have done that a lot better. I was building some of the buildings that I didn't really need that much. I should have build more units earlier, so as soon as I get the dynamite tech I could upgrade and start going on him as soon as I have that. But it turned out a bit different because, as I said, I screwed it up. Though one of the intentions were uh, not to have early units, if so I could have my gold up and manage to upgrade all of my units. So I was leading with literacy, which was a good idea, and the only thing I didn't realize that Mongolia wasn't actually in the industrial era yet. So as soon as he gets in the industrial era, that would mean that he needs 3 more techs minimum to get the dynamite, 3 or 2 more techs. So that was, but I didn't actually realize that. I thought he had been in the industrial era for some time, so I don't want to spoil the next part of the video by saying anything, so you'll just have to find out. I even had a great scientist. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't actually need that. Because I wasn't ready to upgrade units and go for it. I didn't have enough units, so that was a decent mistake. I should have just left it. It would have gave me like 10 more or 12 more turns, just enough to make enough cannons. And at this point I had enough growth, population, so I just turned to production. I'm using a worker to build up roads towards his capital, so I could actually cross that river easily, not lose so much turns on movement. The one of the idea was actually not to build units that fast, so I don't alarm him, but he probably already knew that. Maybe he wasn't that sure that I was gonna attack him, but he suspected that he was the one to be attacked. He wasn't sure at which stage of literacy I was at. So I wanted to kill that warrior before he could see all of my units are actually there, close. Moving towards him. Didn't want to alarm him that much. He probably already was aware of the situation. So he moved. I declared war. At this point he probably knew. He was probably 100% sure. One of the other concerns was since they are playing together long before, with each other, and they are all Russians. I was the outsider here. I was actually expecting Marius to attack me from my left when I was going to attack the mentor. So I was expecting that they are plotting against me. That's why I left those early game units at my capital, because I actually didn't have use of them attacking Mongolia. They were just waiting there in case he attacks me. I could upgrade them and defend my capital against him. So at this point I actually realized that he was in the industrial era. Um, he probably popped a great scientist, since he was one tech behind me and was now two techs in front. He realized that I was going to attack him. Um, he wasn't sure if I had artillery yet, but I had a lot of value at this point. So he entered the industrial era. He's probably needs at least 10 more turns to 10 more or 12 to reach dynamite, and was saving up gold to upgrade units. That was my assumption. You can see I don't actually have upgraded units in I don't have barracks in every city and so on. I personally consider that instant healing is a lot more important than um, uh, bonus bonus damage, because when you have low earlier game units, they don't really get a lot of bonus, since they got low damage themselves. Now I was going for industrialization, so I could get coal and build up factories, which didn't actually happen. There's no strategic balance. I'm not really sure how it actually works, if strategic balance only works with horses, iron, and earlier game strategic resources, or it works on the later on strategic resources as well. So I did the shift code there just to attack his crossbowman. Um, Now he definitely knew I had artillery, since I attacked him, and that probably concerned him a little bit, since he entered the industrial era a lot later than I have. His technology lead was actually on the upper branch of techs, and that worked in my advantage. He was probably wanting to expand more and build up more buildings and so on. Though he has a castle in that city, since he has 52 armor. Um, I was just keeping an eye on Marius, just in case he starts grouping up his units. So he didn't even have cavalry, which was odd. I mean, he didn't upgrade his Kashyyyks, or how it's actually pronounced. There I could have went for a temple instead of a theater, but I just wanted I wanted to get happy just for my science boost. So I was back at the first place on literacy, and at this point everything was clear to the mentor. He knew that I was going on him. At this point, his only chance would be actually to uh, his only chance, if he doesn't get artillery fast, then he had to go for cavalry. That's his only shot.